Hello and good
Hey,
evening, and welcome to Truth
truth
Behind
behind
the
the
Truth.
truth.
Guys, we're so glad to have you to join us tonight on our wonderful broadcast coming to you
Yes.
live from the West Coast. West
Yes.
Coast. Yeah, thank you guys for taking out the time to tune in to us tonight. We hope you guys had a wonderful Saturday.
Yes.
Saying hello to all of our partners out there, everybody that has been tuning in us and being a part of us as we have grown this great movement of authenticity.
Yes.
Greatly appreciate that and everybody. But I'm saying hello to the East Coast, everybody, and Central Time.
Yep.
All right.
Hey.
Welcoming everybody to the show. Now, we are looking for a great show tonight, guys. We have actor Sean Baker that's going to be with us tonight. Oh my gosh, I'm so one of my great buddies. We'll dig into all of his greatness
Yes.
that's out there and happening as well about that. Want to remind you, everybody, definitely go to the Truth Behind the Truth page.
Yes.
If you have not liked and shared the Truth Behind the Truth page on Facebook, please go ahead and do that. Get that out there to your friends, okay?
Yes. And get the
Get
shirt
your-
too.
What?
The shirt.
Get the t-shirt.
The t-shirt.
Those t-shirt orders are
Yes.
coming in kind of slow, guys. I don't know what's going on with y'all.
Christmas
gotta-
is around the
Christmas
corner
is on
too.
the great gifts.
Yeah.
Great gifts.
Yeah.
Truth Behind the Truth. Just scroll down on the Facebook page of the Truth Behind the Truth. Click on the PayPal link, and it'll take you right there to get the t-shirt. I want to say hello to our YouTube family. Hey, YouTube family.
Hey.
Thank you for tuning in with us as well tonight. And then, of course, our IG, Instagram people that are coming on board with us as well.
Yes.
And to the UK, our UK followers, we love you guys as well.
Yes.
Thank you for tuning in tonight, being a part of everything that's going on
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say real quick about the opening?
Oh, I hope you're getting ready to sleep an extra hour.
Oh, man. Oh, wait, I hate to cut you off.
Yes.
3 days.
Okay.
Vote.
In 3 days.
In 3 days.
In 3 days.
In 3 days, guys, we going to get that man out the White House. Man, we going to get that Cheeto, that orange Kool-Aid, that tangerine, that nectarine.
But it will be life changing.
Oh my
There
gosh.
is a new, you know what? I want to say this, and I'm bigs up to the American people. Y'all have really been like surprising me with the early voting.
Yes.
People, oh my goodness. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I live
Yes.
for. A country getting involved, people
Yes.
getting involved, understanding their civic duty, understanding what it is to be a citizen of this country, and
Yes.
how it is important for all of us to get involved.
Yes.
Y'all, you're proving you wrong every time. Because before this, then I'm going to be honest with you, I always kept telling myself, I don't always give the American people too much credit because we're always so distracted.
Mhm.
With everything that's going on, we're I feel like the less unenthusiastic when it comes down to things of this nature. When it comes down to foolishness, that's when we jump on board.
Right. Exactly.
But when it comes down to something that's serious politics, it's something that's serious as of civil rights.
Mhm.
I feel like sometimes we get to a point that we are so not unenthused with getting involved and understanding that it takes mass participation
It
for
does.
our lives to change.
It does.
So for those who did go out there and early vote, because we're going to vote.
Yes.
We're going to vote.
Yes.
But for those who did early vote, who took pictures of the big ups. Thank you so much. And keep your mask on too, people. COVID is still out there. Still be safe with whatever that's going on.
Yes.
And protect your health as well as your families, your
Yes.
friends, whoever that's around you. Understand this is not about you. This is about everybody else.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm just really glad. I mean, really, in my short lifetime, I've just never not seen
It's
this
really
impact in
wonderful.
voting
Wow.
because, as much as media tries to play up that the orange Kool-Aid is impacting this U.S. and the only way that man would ever get in the White House
Mhm.
again is if they cheat.
Oh, well.
You see what I'm saying? That's the only way. I mean, seriously, because you can't tell me that majority of these Americans are voting for this man. That's impossible. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I refuse to believe that many people, that are voting to keep this man in office.
Yeah, I understand. Go ahead. I was about to say, but yes, I don't want to believe that everybody's voting for Trump.
I mean, I don't.
But I say vote for whoever you're going to vote for.
Right.
But understand, voting is not the end, the mean all to end all type of situation. You have to stay on. You got to stay up on these politicians. It's just that's the name of the game in this situation. Yeah, we can go vote these people in, but you have to hold them accountable.
Absolutely.
Every time you vote these people in, they got to do the work for us.
Absolutely.
For you, for that person. If you voted them in, they have to go in doing the work that you voted them in to do for you as a citizen of whatever district, whatever state, whatever. You have to go on with that mindset. Okay, I voted for you. Now I'm on your ass.
Absolutely.
Oops.
No.
I'm on your ass.
And you're making a very strong point about that because, what happens is that these people get in office and we don't hold them accountable.
We don't hold them accountable.
But really, honestly, literally what they do is they get in office and they hide. You know what I mean? They literally get in office and hide, and they hide and hide. And because the American people don't pay attention to their local politicians, they just stay there. And they become like a bad fungus. It just keeps growing and growing for years, at the end of the day, and never making any change, And it's a shame that these people have been in office this long, and we still have the problems that we do in America. It's a crying shame, honestly.
You'd be surprised how many have joined track in their heyday in high school. Because after you notice every now and then when a citizen goes to them and asks them questions, they run. They run like I did not know that person did track. They
run so fast
with the exit.
I mean, it's honest. You catch it, if you're fortunate enough to catch them, between offices or whatever, they don't take time to talk to people.
They don't.
And there's a reason for that because they're not owning up to what they've said, at the end of the day. But, that's them. But always and again, guys, is please go out and vote, this week. It's very, very important. We can't emphasize it enough, at the end of the day. Yes. Before we go to commercial, I want to pay homage to one of my favorite actors that transitioned, last night, overnight, which is actor Sean Connery.
Oh, wow.
Yes, Sean Connery transitioned out.
Yes.
Yes, he was 90 years old. He had been, I understand from the news article that he had been battling some illnesses for some time. So his son put out there, he was living in the Bahamas, but he transitioned last night. So it wasn't through COVID or anything like that. But the man was on the earth for 90 years. Sean Connery has such a great history in Hollywood. And he was one of these actors that embraced everyone.
He was the original James Bond.
He was original James Bond, Yes. He was just a great philanthropic person. You didn't see a lot of him when he wasn't acting, but he left a great essence, out there, in terms of what he did in his body of work and just who he was as a person. They said a lot of great things about him that were out there that you never knew that he did. Go ahead.
But he was one of those great male leading actors that really you would think that he lasted so long in the game. I think he did one of his films. He did a film with Michael. Oh goodness, Kirk Douglas' son's wife.
Okay,
but it's just the fact. But it's just the fact that he lasted so long. You didn't really look at him as old or young or anything of that nature. Because he was just that iconic. Right. Very iconic as far back as I can remember seeing him in films.
Exactly.
I just thought of him just being always here and always having that gray hair look. Right. But not knowing that his career expanded as far back as the 50s and 60s too, as well. With Bridget and some great actresses, Sophia Loren and all those people. But it's just the fact that those actors like Sophia Loren and Paul Newman and Sean Connery, those actors stayed in the game for so long. Yes. You really don't think that as them as what they call matinee actors. What they used to call them back in the day, matinee actors. Right. It's just they are so timeless.
Right. Exactly. Because you expect them to kind of like be around forever.
Oh yes.
At the end of the day,
Barbra Streisand, for example,
expect them to be around forever, and
Cicely Tyson and all of those matinee actors, they are just timeless actors.
That's true. I mean, and they just resonate into that. I hope that we ever to leave that type of impact. That as we mature into
Did you put Denzel Washington in that group of actors?
Not yet, because he's still too young. He's still too young. He's still too young. But anyway, we're gonna go to a commercial break, and then when we come back, we have got one. Hey, my buddy, I'm so excited to have him on the show tonight. Oh man, Mr. Sean Baker will be with us, telling his story. We're gonna dig into some great things about acting as well. Talk about his projects, and I mean, when I'm telling you guys, we'll talk about it, and I'll give him his accolades when he's on camera with us tonight. But I'm telling you that this brother, this friend of mine, I mean, when I've seen him in plays and things like that, he's just awesome. All right. But enjoy the commercial, guys. We'll be back with you with actor Sean Baker just a moment. Hello and welcome back, guys. Welcome to Truth Behind the Truth. Thank you guys for tuning in to us tonight. We're so excited to have you guys be a part of our wonderful, wonderful show. And want to thank everybody that has taken the time out tonight to tune in. If you missed some of the previous shows, please go back and binge watch. Last week's show with Harold LaFall, which is our co-host from time to time. He was on with it. Was a great show with him. Week before that was with actor Keith Burke from the Have and Have Nots. So you guys, if you haven't tuned in, you have been missing some awesome shows.
Oh,
really.
Yes,
you have been.
And those who have, are health nuts.
Oh my gosh!
If you haven't started juicing since the last show, then you need to go back and watch Harold.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Talk about that juicing.
Yes, it's needed.
Absolutely.
It's needed. Yes, it is.
Well, without further ado, guys, we are bringing him to live on Truth Behind the Truth. Want to welcome to the show tonight my buddy, my friend, the awesome actor. And I tell everybody, you have not seen the best of this man yet. Yes. I mean, he's a force to be reckoned with. Okay, and in terms of that, want to bring to the show, Mr. Doctor, whatever. Hey, actor Sean Baker, guys.
Yeah.
Yay.
What's up, everybody? Hello. Peace and blessings, man. Peace and blessings.
Yeah, peace and blessings to you as well. We are so excited, brother, to have you a part of us tonight.
Yes.
I'm excited to be here.
Yes. Truly, indeed. It has been. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule, to making life happen, to be a part of us tonight, to be a part of this, as we've been calling it, the Actor Symposium. I'm so glad to see how this is actually pulling together in December for this big Zoom. It's going to be like a super, super awesome time, see all of us, see all these wonderful faces together again, in the process of that. So tell me about life. What's going on with Sean Baker?
I mean, brothers, what's going on? I'll tell you what's going on with me is just being in a place of true gratitude. Number one to be alive right now. At a time where we've had some truly unprecedented events happening. right?
Yes, absolutely.
In terms of what we're dealing with the world and the state of health,
Yes.
and then also just in life, period, just the way that life is. I mean, we've experienced some great losses, you know,
Yes. Yes.
with people within our community, you know, especially with
Yes,
also within our acting community
yes.
specifically, and it just forces you to really just take a look at life as what it is. It's not guaranteed, and it's short.
It
And
is.
I'm truly grateful just to be pushing. I get up every day, you know. I say my prayers, say my affirmations,
Yes.
and I get myself prepared to take on the day. But I'm grateful first that my eyes were open, and I
Right.
give thanks God for that. And I start there, and then I just
Right.
then I go
Right.
take on what I got to take on. But
Oh, I totally agree. You know, so and you kind of highlighted around different things of the pandemic and what what it has stressed us to a point. So what did you find yourself doing during the I guess the shutdowns and all that type of stuff? And typically in Atlanta, what were you doing during that time frame?
Right before I was working on the show, and I had to, of course, everything shutting down. I had to go and get on back to Atlanta as quick as I could.
Yes.
But what I found myself doing during this pandemic, this unprecedented, I'm gonna say mental spiritual break that I wanted to call it that because
Okay.
what I found myself doing was number one, challenging myself creatively
Uh-huh.
as an artist, because I think a lot of us as artists had to find a way to survive. And I don't just
Exactly.
mean in
Okay.
terms
Gotcha.
of, I don't just mean in terms of, being out of work and not working, not filming, not shooting, but just our creative souls had to find a way
Yes.
to survive. And
Yes.
so
Yes.
I found myself doing that, being more creative, finding, partnering and aligning myself with different creatives in that way, and then
Okay.
also doing self work, and being able to understand that I think this time was needed in terms of a lot of people just slowing down and being still
Yes. Yes.
and
Yes.
finding
Yes.
yourself and getting centered. I don't, truly, I mean, that's honest. That's just being transparent. A lot of inner work was being done. And I think when I spoke to a lot of people and coming back to work, and, as we slowly and surely started getting back into the doors opening in the industry, when you
Yes.
talk to other creatives and they're saying, well, how was your experience? What did you do? A lot of people were able to spend time with family,
Right.
and
Uh-huh.
see kids grow up, and
Right.
or those that
Mhm.
just had a child, things of that
Right.
nature. So
Right.
a lot of growth.
With the you were talking about during the COVID, you had to get into the realm of creating and besides meditating, which I always say prayer is meditation, and 2020
Yes.
is the year of meditation. And I'm telling you, we all need prayer, but we also needed to add that meditation part to it. But
Yes.
but you are a stunt actor, a stage actor, but you're also a writer. What comes first when you are thinking about anything? Does the writing come first? Do the acting come first? As an artist, what do you do? What comes to you first?
Great question. And also, and that's a great question, and it also depends on which realm of artistry. When it comes to, of course, writing, concepts in terms of acting, I would say obviously the content has to come first because an idea is forged. So it's the idea of a character or two or more in a situation or in a scenario where they're either discovering something or getting through something or fighting against something, right? So sometimes the idea that's forged is what brings forth, okay, now what are these characters going to do with this idea, and what's going to happen in this scenario? So at times an idea will spark. When it comes to music, sometimes it depends. It may be a thought that I had, and oftentimes I may hear a track or a beat, and I'm like, ooh, that sounds good, and it'll speak to me. It'll say something different to me, and I'll with another creative or another musician or another writer, another a rapper or a singer, and and ideas will flow. But sometimes it's really it's an energy and it's a feeling that's what inspires it.
Wow.
Good.
Yes.
My thoughts are going kind of. I want to before I get into my first question about or bring point the day we bet and what have you. But tell us a little about how you got your start. In terms of what inspired you as a young tyke. Of just about 20 years ago. You're only 22, I know. So,
I like that.
So about 20 years ago, you first got started too.
I like what you did there. Honestly, I have to. I always give respect to my parents, my ancestors and angels. My parents were very, very, very instrumental in getting in the reasons why I'm here. They're very instrumental in getting the idea of being able to be an artist and be a creative in this aspect. My father, loved classic films. He loved films. I was introduced to Sidney Poitier and Sean Connery. Yes. Speaking of, rest in peace, because of my father. Anybody from Clark Gable to Greta Garbo. Like I'm talking about actors that my father knew. When they got their award, when they first started. He knew trivia. He knew these trivia questions and answers, and I was like, as a kid, I didn't understand, but I would just sit there and I would watch these films with him. So film is where I got the love for film acting from him. Stage and musical plays I got from my mother. She took me to my Broadway plays. She took me to see Sarafina, and I went to off Broadway plays, and I was just surrounded by that. And and mind you, they weren't in that field. It's just that they had a love and a respect for it. And so it just spoke to me in my spirit coming up, and I of course I developed my own journey into into where I am now. But that was the beginning, and from that it was doing shows in grammar school, doing it at church, and then of course doing it in high school, college, and then it was like, what, I just got to keep going with what I feel is speaking to me. And went from music, and then I went back to acting. So that's where it started. My parents.
One of the things what I love about our show is that there's always an organic synergy that always pulls, connectively pulls us all together, because the three of us undoubtedly are exactly the same when it comes to our soul. I'm gonna say our soul's inspiration about this industry. Right. I mean, when you mentioned the love of historical film. Okay, his love for historical, and I'll let you speak on that just a second. Historical, the love for musicals. Oh my God, I can just imagine. I get goosebumps thinking about how my mom and I would sit there and watch at that time, of course, vintage film, but it was and making that a part of your life, and just the desire to be where these actors were. I remember you brought up Sidney Poitier. I remember, I think the first film that I ever saw with my mom of Sidney Poitier was Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, which is still my favorite film to this day. I love that film, and there's just so many points. I don't want to get into it, but there's so many points I love about that film, that resonate down to, and you being from New York, but being around Broadway, and then my parents making sure that I saw Broadway pros and musicals. I'm a musicals. I get another set of goosebumps. I get one on the vintage film on the other side, goosebumps on the side. But musicals, But I remember my very first two musicals that I had ever saw. My first musical was Peter Pan, and then my second musical was Pearlie. And and from there, I just saw a series of everyone thereafter and after behind it. So I share in that synergy, that creative, that creative force, and typically being African American men, within the culture of the African American people, maybe we can all speak to that just for a second. The opportunity for exposure is like, I don't understand why we dropped that. You know what I'm saying? Where did the generation lose that desire to put that in front of everybody, and in front of their young people in that? And I'm saying, because it's so much beauty in that. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I know I'm kind of going around in circles with that, but it's because it's a big thought for me, in the process of it. We'll answer that question in a second. But go ahead. I know you want to speak on my.
I want to answer that question.
Okay, go ahead.
I think it deals with location, and culture.
Okay.
I can tell you, I'm from Alabama, so things that I've experienced, thankfully, I had a mother who, my first musical was Peter Pan.
Right, okay.
But the fact is that, thank God, I had Turner Classic Movies. And you know what, Sean? We are a friend indeed. Greta Garbo, when you said that, I thought about, how does he know? I always thought I was the only one that knew Greta Garbo from the Notch to the Queen Christina. But before the show, we talked about, where you were from, where your foundation was laid in the Bronx in New York. Now that you are in Atlanta, do you see that cultural difference in acting and the difference in the enlightenment and the skill and the artistry? And I always assume that in New York, that is where you need to be as an actor. That is the mecca of acting. But when you go to other places and you see how, skills vary, do you see that in your field when you go and you make these movies or you make these plays from time to time?
I do see the difference, and what I'll say is this: it has evolved over the years.
Okay.
And I say that because of course, again, coming from that part of the creative world in New York, you have. Broadway is Broadway. Everybody knows, once you go out, if you happen to make it to Broadway and you do something out there, or even if it's off Broadway, it's still considered like you're getting a different level of training, right? Nowadays, for me, because I've been able to work, everywhere from New York to Atlanta to LA, different places, I would say the reason why I say it's evolved is because we have super talented actors in Atlanta. We have super talented actors, of course. LA, Tinseltown. So you have, but do I see the difference? I see the difference if you were to, because I see the difference if you were able to, or even ventured to get an understanding of what it is to come from theater, and you can experience theater in just about anywhere. If you study it, but the reason why I say it's evolved is because I've worked with and seen such great talent coming from different districts, different states, different countries. Let's not even talk about overseas and London. So
competition.
But it's good. And I don't get into the whole. It's good competition, because here's the thing. I'm gonna be the actor that's gonna say, well, just as we can have anybody, Idris and whoever coming over here and not knowing that they were British until the show ended.
Right.
I'm gonna be one to challenge that and say I'll go over there and do the same thing.
Absolutely. Good point.
Where are you with your craft? So I think that you'll see the difference in terms of how people approach the craft. You'll see the difference in how people respect the craft, and if they respect, they're gonna respect it in New York. They'll respect it in Atlanta. They'll respect it in LA. Because if you respect the craft, you'll study it. You'll hone your skills. You'll pay attention. And that's that. I would never want to say, oh, if you didn't do here, if you didn't study here, if you didn't do this, and you're not, then you're not making it, or you don't have the understanding or the wherewithal. No, that's not it. Because talent is talent. But your work ethic is your work ethic. And if you have good work ethic, then you'll be able to outwork the most talented person.
That's true. Speaking of talent, you open up that door. Guys, I want to tell you about this man, okay? In my perception. All right. In my perception means a lot here, okay, this show, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I was let me I'm gonna do this in two parts real quick here. First of all, when I first met Sean, he was invited to my acting class at one acting class I was doing at some time ago, and he came in with the most humblest spirit. Okay, he came in to do the work. He came in not to say that I'm Sean Baker. I'm walking in, I'm gonna show everybody that because I know I can act. Never did. He our good friend Troy Bland brought him, invited him to class. And I was very humble because I'd already heard about his resume. So I'm feeling like, oh my gosh, it's like Sean Baker coming to my class. I'm like, oh wow, hey, So I was like, whoa, I felt, felt really good. The same way that when Mama D came to class, you know what I mean? The same day, you know that. So, but he came in and he just went to work. I'm saying, we gave him the script. He got with a scene partner. He learned it and just did a fantastic, marvelous job, in the process. So, guys, believe me, humbleness, and I'm gonna say that point, put that the humbleness, and that was he was on many levels different than anybody else was in that class. And I'm just being honest, However, he didn't allow himself to shine above that in a way that, I'm Sean Baker, like I'm gonna show out, in this class. He could out most everybody in that class. Yes, good. I'm gonna tell you the truth. Okay. But Sean, again, appreciate you coming to that point. Now let me move on to the next point. Man, when I tell you, when I saw this man, that brother in Raisin in the Sun, I'm telling you, and I told you after the show, I said, your destiny is so great. You remember? Yeah. I said, your destiny. But you are an unseen soul that is going to soar. Okay. Because when I tell you this man was captivating, okay, as Henry, was it named Henry? What's the character?
Walter Lee.
Walter Lee. Oh my God. I mean, if I could say that a person lost himself into character, he lost himself in that particular character. It was simply amazing the first time. The second time he did it was him and Mama D had did it. But when you were doing it was last October when you and Mama D did down at Clayton County, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So we were supposed to go, but we were here because remember I think I texted you and Mama D said I was coming to the show, but it was the same weekend that we were going to be here in LA.
Yes.
That particular point in time. But guys, that I'm saying, I know he's such a humble, but I'm telling you, this man is amazing. You know what I'm saying? When I say I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm grateful, and I say it with humility, but I say that from me to your, from our Creator to you. Sean, the world has not seen your greatness yet. You know what I'm saying? I mean, really, honestly, that they have not. It's just to be untold, but I had to say that. Okay.
And as you mentioned that, and as you mentioned that, I have to give really quickly just give a shout out to the people that made that happen in terms of even doing that show. Director Chris Scott, Mama Roz, that's Mama D, Nicholas Shea, Troy Bland. I mean, I worked with Rich. I worked with Rich Roberts. I worked with so many great people, Donald Gray. I mean, I worked, and this is over a span of years. So every time that I did it, I found something new. But it's always a blessing to do that. I can't wait to watch somebody else. When they do it again. And I know Director Scott would want me to come back and do it, but I would love to see, who would step in and play that role. But it's always been my honor to play, and I'm glad. I mean, to be masked up to the, what we used to say, the master being Sidney Poitier, to have truly brought that life to, and I told you that night, I said, I'm sorry, you right there. you're right there, and then let me say, and I meant to mention earlier, Nikki, I appreciate you tuning in tonight. Nikki's been a follower of the show. Hey, Nikki, we saw you tuning in tonight. Nikki said we love you, girl. I was trying to reach out to you because I wanted you to bring you on the show and interview you. Call me, okay, so we get you on the show. All right. Call him, Nikki.
See you.
Well, we see you, Mom. So, Nikki, please call me because I really want to get you on the show, definitely. Because I tried to reach out to you, but anyway, you didn't return my text. But anyway.
She out there on the West Coast.
Yeah, exactly. We out here together, Nikki. Okay. But anyway, but yeah, Sean, but like I said, such an amazing point about that, as well. But then we're going to dig into what you're doing at this particular point in time. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. Yeah. We'll get back and we're going to bring a clip up to. We're going to let you set the clip up to what the show that you're working. I mean, the movie that you're working on right now. Mm-hmm. So we had that when we come out of the clip. So tell us about that clip real quick, and then after the commercial, we'll see it.
Real quick, this one is the new Jim Crow. It was written, created, and directed by Crystal M. Harris. Created a really, really dope actress, writer, director, and this is speaking to our people who have been unjustly imprisoned and sentenced, and dealing with, of course, what we're dealing with today in terms of everything from police brutality.
Wow.
to what we deal with you know, I mean, you name it. We are in a place right now. I'm trying to be careful with my words. We are in a place right now where we are fighting for our lives, and we have to, and these stories need to be told. And so I'm grateful to be a part of a series show like this, where that's getting ready to, you know, it's getting on its legs and getting a lot of film festival awards. But these are stories that need to be told. So stay tuned. There's more to come with that.
Gotcha. Guys, we'll be right back, and we'll talk more about the film when we get right back. Enjoy the commercial, guys.
Yes.
Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome back to Truth Behind the Truth. Thanks for tuning in with our wonderful guest tonight, Mr. Doctor, actor, Sean Anthony Baker.
I know you get doctor from.
Hey, you know, I always
I know you get doctor from.
I always make everybody a doctor on the show, one way or the other. Guys,
I was going to say you may be foreshadowing something.
You never know. Want to remind every guy that
I was
exactly. We want to remind everybody that next week on our show we'll have actor. Oh my gosh, my sweetheart, Tara Jones will be right with us next week on our show. Tara is quite well known in the Atlanta area from her our commercial, our furniture commercial there, but she's done a lot of the stuff, you know, as well. So we're looking forward to having Tara on the show next week as well. So anyway, back into where we are talking about tonight. So let's talk
tonight.
Huh?
I'm getting the sniffles.
Oh,
no. But listen, it's just one of those habits. You know, it's probably this time of evening, but you know, this California would always does something of that nature. Yeah. So go ahead.
So let's talk about the film real quick, Sean. We'll bring up a clip in just a second. So let's talk about the film a little bit more. And
yeah. So like I said, it's called The New Jim Crow, Majority Rule, and it is it's written, co-directed, and created by a wonderful creative, wonderful artist. Her name was Crystal M. Harris, she asked me to be a part of this. I actually met her through another acting friend of ours, also acting coach out in McDonough, Georgia, Steve Aldifer, and he's also in the show / film. And she asked me to be a part of it. I read the script, and it was just I loved what the story was about. I love the fact that it's telling the story of again a woman, Black woman, who is has to deal with the death of her fiance in terms of dealing with police violence and police brutality, and how our people in our community have to move forward. How people in our community are fighting injustices in terms of there's a project that she's working very closely with. It's called the Innocence Project. It's actually out in California, and they're supporting it 100%. So it's been out there. It's been support. It's won awards. It's won Best Actress to her. Congratulations. It's won Best Pilot thus far. So it's moving. So it's gripping. It's very gripping, and would love for people to just continue to support it. Because again, these are our people within our community that are telling stories that we need to hear and see and understand, and keep putting it out in the forefront.
Gotcha. Well, we have the clip. You can bring it up real quick, and we'll talk more about it. Just
sure.
Mm-hmm.
Officer, sir, I know my rights. I'm reaching for my phone, okay? I'm just reaching for my phone.
No, it'll be there. You didn't actually think you were a journalist, did you? What we deliver is biting anecdotes for an audience hungry for a fight.
Everyone wants to talk to you, sis. You're really doing something here.
Be afraid.
God's gonna trouble the water.
Wow. What can you say but wow? Yeah. Very, 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 very thought provoking.
Yeah. It speaks to the heart and to the connects with the pulse of what's happening right now.
Exactly.
In the world, in the country, in Nigeria, it's all over. Like we are in a very real battle right now. Yeah.
So since we're there, I mean, so what are your thoughts about that? Where we are with things right now, and where do you see us as? I would say, as a people, how can we get to a place that we come together and make the change, the narrative of the change?
That is a weighted that is a weighted question. I think that there's so many moving parts with that when it comes to us and as a people.
Mm-hmm.
First, it starts with our healing. We have some healing to do in terms of who we are, why we are the way that we are right now. When you talk about systemic racism, when you talk about systemic oppression, there's so much that needs to be undone and addressed the damage that happened to our people over the years. It's not a scapegoat. It's not trying to make excuses. It's literally that it's what it is.
Right.
If we don't address those things, we are going to constantly be screaming Black Lives Matter. We're going to constantly be screaming we can't breathe, which is why I feel like part of that is we have to heal our community. Then we can stop the Black on Black violence.
Right.
Then
absolutely.
then we can talk about what economic stability and growth means, about what our wealth means.
Right.
And then we can talk about getting into how that can affect and change politics.
Right.
Because if we don't find a way to govern ourselves and get ourselves back to understanding what do we need as a people,
right.
First,
right,
we're going to be running in circles.
Absolutely.
You're not going to understand why we need to be financially educated and stable. We're not going to understand why our homes need to be fortified and strengthened, because the Black families are. It's so many different facets to it, but it starts with us.
Exactly.
And in short, that's the short answer to that.
Well, yeah, I mean, you spoke about it, and I'll kind of encapsulate what you're saying at the point. I know you got a point when bringing it, that you can't expect change unless you're willing to change.
Yes.
See what I'm saying? So you can't put a demand on another community when you're not even addressing your own community. You know what I mean? Accountability. And it's a really hard lesson, in that, because it really, when you start taking accountability and really looking at things at face value. Now, what I'm saying, it doesn't justify the horrific acts that is experienced out there. But at the same time, you can look at the horrific act, but yet you've got to pull that in and sequentially make that a part of what you need to do to change that horrific act from happening. You know what I'm saying? One of the things we talked about last week on the show, which was, and I think it's very apropos, that there was a clip. We read it last week on the show. Did you have that on your phone again? I could bring it up again about Don and I were talking about one day about the law of attraction. Okay.
Yeah.
And that the attraction is a law. Okay, I'll show you from you got to break it down like that. Is a law. You can't change that. I mean, you're attracted to people for different reasons. When you and I first met, we were attracted to each other because we had kindred spirits. We thought alike. We celebrated each other. We celebrated each other even without words. You know what I'm saying? So there was a law of that attraction, Now, there's a community of people you'll never get attracted to. At the end of the day, they're in a different dynamic of that, that perspective. But the point that I'm bringing out about this is that we were discussing this one day, and we were saying that why is it that adversity or adverse people always come in our direction, come in our faces for different reasons? And the reason is that they are what's in them is in us. And the only way that we are able to confront what's in us is by confronting what's within them. And I was like, man, that is so powerful. So that goes beyond necessarily what we see, but it goes back into the spirit in which a person operates in. See what I'm saying? Right. And so if you're not willing to govern yourself inwardly to make a necessary change, and if you put us all in a dark room and nobody knew what each other looked like, but at the end of the day, if the conversation that you're, and this is really powerful, the conversation that you are having with someone and the words that are coming out of you would not change the heart of the person, then it's something wrong. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not even seeing the person that you're trying to direct that message at. You see what I'm saying? Right. Because we're so blinded, we're so tainted by the fact of what we think we see, but what we really see is not the true essence. And one of the points about that's why truth behind the truth is the way that it is. This is why the show is the way it is, because it gives us a level to unmask, to pull those layers back and find the truth behind that truth. You know what I mean? Right. Go ahead and read this point right here. This is real powerful. Anyway, I'm going to set the stage for it, and then we'll go on. So we talked about just what we were talking about the law of attraction, right? So I get these little emails, from time to time, right? And one of them is called a message from God, right? But what I said was exactly what we were talking about that particular day. And I was like, okay, so I'm getting this now. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting this download that our creator sent. You see what I'm saying? He actually sent a confirmation through an email. And I was so important to read about it. But I'm going to let Donna go ahead and read it for you. Break it down. So this is what it was.
Okay, what it says is what angers you in another person
What angers you in another person
is an unhealed aspect of yourself.
is an unhealed aspect of yourself.
If you had already resolved that particular issue,
If you, say it again.
if you had already resolved,
If you had already resolved that issue,
you would not be irritated by its reflections back to you.
you would not be irritated by its reflections back to you. I was like, wow.
That's heavy.
You know,
That's heavy.
it is.
Yeah.
It's deep. So,
It's heavy.
in the fact of, like you mentioned earlier about in the community that there's certainly a lot of healing. You know what I'm saying? Certainly a lot of overcoming that needs to happen in the process of this. But I really believe that, well, in a day-to-day process, if we look what's coming at us, because now I may be paraphrasing it the right way, then you can dig into it if you want. That let's say the term, everybody challenges me, and I say, well, you can't be racist and be black. Well, yeah, you can. But what I mean by that, I know people say that it's different terminologies. I get it. Prejudices, racism, it's all the same to me. You don't like somebody, okay? At the end of the day, you know, however you put the label on. I know you got your point. However you put the label on, okay? Because here's the thing, and I like to go from this particular point. You make your point, sir. Churches, okay, they are prejudiced against each other's denomination within a range of typically the African American. You got Baptists, you got Pentecostals, you got Church of God in Christ. They don't like each other because they quote unquote see our Creator different than one another, even though it's supposed to be the same channel of understanding. You know, so then they set up laws and rules why they can't be a part of society or be a part of this group, because this group, not hypothetically, but this group allow women to wear pants. This other group don't allow women to don't wear pants. You know what I'm saying? So they're wrong. They become simple. You know what I'm saying? So all of these layers, you know, and then we have all these belief systems that have impacted our community as a whole. So we don't know as a whole what to believe in. Okay? We don't know what to believe in.
I was about to say, you finished with, I was going to bring in something, but I wanted you to finish your point. I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead. I want you to finish your point. I'm so eager to speak on this.
And I'm sure my brother has too, because I love his eyes. He's like, okay, I'm going to get it.
Don't finish your point, because you got.
But I'll drop it at that point. There's more I can say, but we don't know what to believe in. But go ahead, Doctor.
But and I hear what you're saying. I definitely hear what you're saying. Two wrongs don't make any type of right. It doesn't make any type of right. But when you bring that word racism into play, you have to think about the power structure of what is controlling our media, what is controlling what we think is normal, what we think is beautiful, what we think is culture. You know, I would say that, you cannot be, I want to say you cannot be black and be racist. I'd rather say you can be prejudiced. We can be prejudiced, but not racist, because at the end of the day, we don't hold the cards in whatever we're going and whatever venture that we're going into. And I always think about this because we talk about Hollywood. We're talking about Hollywood. We're talking about acting. You know, I can go back to the beginning of celluloid. The biggest masterpiece, the biggest film of its time was Birth of a Nation.
Right, exactly.
Birth of a Nation in 1917 was the biggest thing that had at that point happened to Hollywood before it was Hollywood.
Right, absolutely.
And what happened with that film? It categorized us as a people, as a community, as beasts, as people who, as black men who raped and preyed white women. And what happened after that film was showed, a lot of communities were massacred, were damaged, were pillaged. And it's because of that look, because of that power. It was even showed in the White House. People forget that film was so powerful. Woodrow Wilson showed it in the White House, and that it really expanded the Ku Klux Klan. It reinsurged the Ku Klux Klan. I'm just saying, when you have that type of leverage, that type of power to demonize a community of people through the ages and say, well, this is who they are. This is what they represent. They are uncouth. we have to go and we have to make sure that they hold weight and that they believe in whatever religion that we want them to believe in, because that is what we believe that is right. And I'm not trying to say that at the end of the day that I'm not trying to with this point of view, I'm not trying to demonize white people. Mm-hmm. But what I'm trying to get across, whatever influences that you have on a country, on a society that demonize a group of people, I say that holds more cards than you just being prejudiced. Okay. I'm just saying. Gotcha. I think that holds more weight because we have had as a people to deal with having to go to a job interview and be looked at and stereotyped through what we have on our heads, what we wear, how we talk, right, how we walk. It's so sad that you have to try to nice up. I call it nicing up to people who don't look like you, but assume that because of who you are and your genetic makeup, that you are dangerous, that you are violent, that you are, out of your mind, because this is what I've seen in music, this is what I've seen in movies, this is what I've seen in magazines, this is what I see on the local news. Right. It's that type of, racism that I feel like you cannot equate that with black racism. I'm just saying. Right.
No, I get you.
I'm sorry, but that's where I come from.
Very good point. Go ahead, Sean. You're like,
we're going deep into it, are we? Sean,
like, okay,
we're going deep into it.
What I'm gonna say is this. From everything that you just said, D, to JB, what you started with in terms of the different religions and different denominations. Mm-hmm. The reason why this even exists is because we don't know who we are.
Amen. Exactly.
We lost our culture.
Yeah.
Our culture was taken from us, whether we came from Africa. I'm from a Caribbean diaspora, so I come from Guyana and St. Kitts, South America, and over the Caribbean. And then you have, and you're not even talking about the Black Native Americans that were here, as well as the Native. Yeah. So as a culture, we've been picked apart. As a culture, as a people, we've been lost. So no wonder denominations are going to fight about who, where, how you do this and what. No wonder. And then we didn't have the power. So we didn't have the power. So therefore, Birth of a Nation and everything else that came after that, that's what dictated. So here we are. So we're fighting to breathe. We're fighting to learn. We're fighting to have financial freedom.
Right.
Here we are. That's all I'll say. That's why we have to. That's why we got to get back to who we are and what we started getting it. We started to have it, and then it was taken away. Gotcha. You look at Black Wall Street. You look at Tulsa. So we got to get back to that.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. That's all.
I'm such the optimistic person that I believe that as a people we will get there, but it will be in a way that we'll all be surprised. At the end of the day, I really believe that we will. We'll all certainly get there. Through the three of us, on this show tonight, I don't think that we'll probably be looking at joining the ancestors, looking back and watching it happen. But but I do believe that we will get there. One of the things that I would say before we go to this last commercial is that I don't believe that this planet will ever end. You know what I'm saying? Because the planet has itself together. It does what it's supposed to do. It circles like we're getting ready to go. Time change again. We're get an extra hour's sleep now. You know what I'm saying? Because the planet does what it's supposed to do. Yes, humanity, I believe, in its inception and its ideas will pass away into a new generation of humanity will emerge. And to carry out what needs to be. I could go a lot of history upon about that, but so I'm in agreement. You know what I'm saying? That it will happen, as we will be as church people to be a part of the great cloud of witnesses, looking back, watching it happen. I don't see it happening in our lifetime right now. I see that we're edging there, but we got a lot of stuff to do to get through to make it happen. But anyway, we're going to go right to a quick commercial, Bay, and then we'll finish up with the topic. And then Sean, we'll let you finish up some things that you want to talk about tonight, and then we'll conclude the show. Okay? Yes. All right. Yes. Enjoy the commercial, guys. We'll be right back with you. Hey guys, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in to Truth Behind the Truth tonight. Want to say hey again to our YouTube audience and our Instagram family and everyone and all of our friends and family that are tuned in. Guys, want to remind you guys, please share, like, and subscribe to that YouTube channel. Yeah. Definitely. Yes. We are here tonight with my good buddy and friend, Doctor. Here I go, that doctor again.
It's gonna happen.
That's right. Actor Sean Baker. And also want to remind you guys, next week we have the wonderful and beautiful Miss Tara Jones that will be with us on our Actor Symposium next week. But anyways, as we're bringing the show to a close, I want to give Sean, your platform to talk about it a little bit more and where you're going with your career, what's out there, what can we expect from you, where to look for you, and all that good stuff.
So just to kind of segue into this next part of the plug, if you want to call it that, what we were just talking about in terms of society. That's why I think it's so important as creatives. We need to make sure that what we're creating and pouring into the community is something that is meaningful. Something, the work that we do is, we're entertainers. So it's going to be, it's going to be entertaining, but we should also make sure that we bring things to the forefront, bring things to the light. So music wise, I work with an artist named Salute, and he's a brother from Mobile, Alabama, and he's an Army vet, talented brother, and I worked with him as doing background work on a couple of shows, Tyler Perry movies and a Tyler Perry show, and Taken years ago. That's how we met, and since then we have forged this alliance where I've been working with him, executive producing a couple of his projects, as well as being featured as an artist on some of his projects. And what we call the music that we create mental health music.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Beautiful. Yeah.
So one of the videos that you have there is called We Ain't Your Niggas. We created that especially after following the untimely deaths of murders of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor. And that's part of the fight. I think that's part of what we need to do as a community. We fight we fight through our craft. We fight through our creativity. And that's why we created that. That's part of the reason why that song was created. But we have other music that speaks to that. So I'm in my music venture world, in terms of, being effective in our community in terms of what we listen to. As well as what we're seeing. I'm gonna entertain you. Antagonist at one point, drug dealer at one point, but then I'll turn around and be a father and doting husband in the next. But I want to make sure that when I have the chance to create something, I want to create something that can impact our community and have an effect that's long lasting. So I have that I'm working on. I'm working on promoting myself and pushing the ideas of as a Black action hero. There's many of us out there. Rest in peace, Star King, and now ancestor Chadwick Boseman. He has brought bigger light on our community in terms of who we are and what we do in our community, kings and queens. But I'm continuing to carry that torch in my own way. I created a show with my partners, Brian Lennis and Ronan Scott. It's called One Way Out, and it's action miniseries that's on YouTube. I have the trailer that's on YouTube, but it's also out there promoting, and I'm working on that as well. It's going to be a series. But again, and I'm following in the footsteps of people like Michael Jai White, who's a excellent, one of my great martial artists that I follow. I gotta give big ups to Carl Weathers, who was the first Action Jackson. And then big ups to Mario Van Peebles and big up to Robert Townsend. So I'm following in the footsteps of creating material that highlights us and being the heroes in our community. We're not waiting for other people to come and save us. We can save ourselves. So promoting that, and like I said, working on music, and I'm also working on a sci-fi project again with Miss Crystal M. Harris. This one's called Sunset. It actually that's part of what was created during the pandemic, where we are facing what's happening in our world in terms of not just the pandemic, but in technology. And what does it look like in terms of when we're dealing with artificial intelligence and and social media and how that affects. I can't give too much away about it, but that's something that's also, but still creating. So, the other idea of it is don't wait, create. So even as I'm away working on different projects, and right now I'm away working on a show. Thank God that we're back and we're safely working through the channels of getting work done. But I promote, don't wait, create. If you have there's a role, right? You spoke in it earlier, and I didn't want to interrupt you, but there's a role that you say you're not waiting for that role to be carved out. You write it and you create it and you shoot it.
That's true.
You put it out there. Because if I wait for them to see me as an action hero, or wait for them to see me as a black father that's responsible, that loves his children and loves his wife or loves family, if I wait for it, I don't know when that audition is coming, but I can create it and I can put it out there, right? And if I put it out there, then now we're talking about what I'm attracting. So now it goes back to your law of attraction. So now I'm attracting what it is that I want to see and what I want to be.
That's true.
So that's what's happening. I hope not forgetting something, but I'm just working. This thing's happening behind the scenes that I can't speak on just yet. But just know that one of the biggest things I want to say right now is thank you to you guys. I want to thank you all for creating this forum and this symposium, because we need this. We need to support one another. I love supporting my fellow creators, whether you're acting, whether you're dancing, music, arts, I don't care. When I see my community doing things and winning, I love to support that, and I push that. And we need more of that, because the more that we support each other, the more we strengthen each other in love, then we can stand firm against the powers that be, the one to take us down and change and try to change the narrative. We have to change the narrative. So all of that works for me. All of that works together. So encouraging one and each other to do what we do. So just continue to keep me in prayer as I keep everybody else in prayer, that to push forward and make it through, that we make an impact on the world, that was that as we can and as we should. And that's my goal. I'm wearing the last thing I wanted to say. I have a clothing line. I have a clothing brand. All right. We will breathe. Right.
We will breathe. Yes.
We will breathe. And on the back it says, by any means necessary.
Oh wow! Okay.
So the reason why I've created that is because I was tired of hearing the chant of "We can't breathe," and I understand why it was said.
Right.
Trust me, I'm respectfully to the fallen brother Eric Garner. I understand, because he couldn't breathe.
Right.
Our brother George Floyd couldn't breathe, because it's true. Because we were being oppressed, and their arms were around our necks. Their knees was in our backs and in our necks, so we couldn't breathe. But if we stand firm together, we will say that we will breathe. We will breathe. And I take it from the brother Malcolm X, by any means necessary. We have to have that mentality. We have to know that we take charge of our lives, our community, who we are as a people, and speak that with affirmation.
Absolutely.
And so, and with that, I work with a brother, my brother Darryl, who I grew up from the Bronx. His family has a shop out in Covington. It's called Ashe. On Instagram, that's Ashe, ASE.ATL, Ashe.ATL, and that's where I have a lot of my clothing, and my brand stuff that we are pushing and promoting. And so, all of it is about uplifting community, about pushing the agenda and moving forward, so we can create stability for ourselves and who we are, and get back to business, because we had it. We're gonna get it again.
Well, we can, if you send us some of the stuff, we'll definitely put it on the Truth Behind the Truth page to support that as well. And we'll speak offline as to if you've got maybe some advertising pieces that you want to do. We'll speak offline, maybe make that happen for you guys down here, as well. The one thing that as I was listening to, we'll wrap it up with this. Unless you got another point or whatever.
I think that's enough.
You paid homage to Chadwick Boseman, which has really touched all of our lives in a major way. You know what? I'm just putting it out there in the universe, okay? And I don't know how it may play out. It may or may not, but I'm just putting it out there in the universe, Sean. Okay, They're going to be looking for another Black Panther. Okay, keep doing what you're doing. Get ready for that audition.
Yes.
Overstood, respectfully.
Okay, get ready for that audition. You know what I'm saying? Keep your eyes out for that audition, because they're going to need one. And the character, and just all of your essence. I think that you would just tremendously step into that role. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure there's a lot of actors out there, and they don't know you like I know you, or whatever the case may be. We don't know their skill sets, but to embrace what you've just said, I think to gravitate as to what the legacy that he left in that character, you have to have somebody with your character to continue that brand on. You know, he did a almost a $600 billion film, but you could take it to $1 trillion film at the end of the day.
Whoa, that's heavy.
Okay.
I'm learning to receive and say yes a lot more. So I received it. Yes, brother. Thank you.
So you keep me posted on that. Yeah, hey, you text me, you call me, say, look, baby, brother, I got the audition. Okay.
I will. I promise you I will. And you are one of many people who speak that affirmatively and passionately about that. So I receive that.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Guys, we want to thank you so much for tuning in tonight. It's been one of our inspirational shows, you know, and I love my brother dearly. I thank you, Sean, for taking your time out tonight, you know, and being with us tonight and just celebrating life. You know what I'm saying? Celebrating in the goodness of life. I appreciate your energy. Appreciate all that. I'm looking forward to all of the greatness that you're going to be putting out there. Certainly, we're going to have you back on the show again as an independent guest as well. And then, of course, I'm so... You've ignited even the excitement again about this great Zoom when we all get together in December, man. This show could be really awesome. Yeah. You know, the energy that's going to be flying between us, you know, tonight. But brother, thank you again tonight for being a part of it. And we're going to queue up what we'll do tonight for the video. You know, we'll queue up. So after the show credits and everything goes up, we're going to let the show run a little bit longer so we get the video on the tag into the show, so they'll be able to see the video as well, the music video. Okay.
Yes. Thank you so much.
After the credits at the end of the show. Okay.
I want to say to the audience who've been watching us, I've noticed I've been sending Eric Brown. You said
Eric Brown.
Nikki
Lachette, Tawana, yes.
And my mom, we see you. And we know that you're there. We want to say thank you all, whoever been watching this show. Keep watching us, keep supporting us, keep subscribing, but also support Sean as well.
Yes.
Look out for his work. Bless his work, and also we're going to claim that it's going to happen. Black Panther will happen.
Will happen.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I said I just want to leave this note. I just want to leave everyone this note because people often ask me, what advice or what would you say to people out there that, you know, amongst our community, amongst our people who are either aspiring or in the midst of working. What I say is this: 2 things: do it with passion,
yes,
or don't do it at all. That's 1.
Yeah.
Do it with passion, and don't do it at all. And 2, keep going. The only way that you lose is if you quit. But if you don't quit, they gotta see you.
That's right.
If you don't quit,
yes,
they gotta see you. So you keep going.
Wow. Thank you, brother.
That's what I'm going to say.
Thank you. Man, sitting humble and blessings to you. And thank you again, man. Sitting like what we always say, Wakanda, we're going to say, Washanda.
Not Washanda. Okay.
Washanda. Not Washanda, but Washanda. Okay.
I can't with you, JB. I can't with you. But thank you. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Respect to y'all. Respect and love to y'all, man.
Yes, and love to you, brother. Yeah. Guys, thank you for tuning in to Truth Behind the Truth tonight. This has been such an impactful, enjoyable show as they normally are. We do encourage you to go back and look at all the, go back and start the show over again. Get the parts that you missed.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go back in a few minutes and review the whole show again. Send it out to your friends. Encourage your friends with it as well. Go back into the video library and catch the shows as well. Tons of them out there for you on the YouTube channel as well as on the Facebook page. Guys, y'all have a great night. We'll see you next week on The Truth Behind the Truth. Good night, y'all.
Yes.
Good night,
sisters, ladies and gentlemen, friends and enemies.
Dying at an early age, 421, it's a travesty. Can't even walk the street if you're young and black. It's a fact, you might be a casualty. The world's segregated from the leadership, it's trickling down. What's happening? They neglecting intelligent generations, get annihilated systematic. Killing folks in cold blood, go to war, still collect salary. Couple slaves if you run the streets, that burn you up like calories. When he guard the blessings, I'm allergic to hate, I got allergies. They neglecting intelligent generations, get annihilated systematically. Dogs, cats, chickens, pigs, but none of your animals. No, back in the day, they used to brand us just like cattle. Slash was cross our back with a whip. Couldn't talk back, get slapped in the lips. Work all day, eat slop from the pit. Thorns on my hand from the cotton that I picked. Blood on my pants and my shoes on my shirt. Got scars from the past and the wounds still hurt. 2020, the vision is clear. Marching the cap of the hill, trying to talk about it just ain't gon' work. They ain't trying to do the right thing like Spike Lee. They ain't make laws back then for folk like me. Old days get hung by a rope, nowadays get shot by a cop and they get away free. People dying at an early age, 421, it's a travesty. Can't even walk the streets if you're young and black. It's a fact, you might be a casualty. The world's segregated from the leadership, it's trickling down. What's happening? They neglecting intelligent generations, get annihilated systematically. Killing folks in cold blood, go to war, still collect calories. Couple slaves if you run the streets, that burn you up like calories. When he guard the blessings, I'm allergic to hate, I got allergies. They neglecting intelligent generations, get annihilated systematically. Kids, pets, trash, property, or none of your targets. Back then, get killed, got caught with a book, but you blame us, we ain't the smartest. Be like Marcus Garvey, Frederick Douglass, sprinkle with a little Malcolm X. Had to break the shackles that was on our ankles, then cut the noose that was round the neck.
Salute.
Help fight wars and ain't get no credit. Still came home and did free labor. Eradicated from the history book that had picky signs that we hate niggas. Sweating bullets in the hot heat. They got guns pointed, making 8 figures. If you speak up and try to say something, either shoot you dead, either laugh at you. People dying at an early age, 421, it's a travesty. Can't even walk the streets if you're young and black. It's a fact, you might be a casualty. The world's segregated from the leadership, it's trickling down. What's happening? They neglecting intelligent generations, get annihilated systematically. Killing folks in cold blood, go to war, still collect salaries. Couple slaves if you run the streets, that burn you up like calories. When he guard the blessings, I'm allergic to hate, I got allergies. They neglecting intelligent generations, get annihilated systematically.
We have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough. And it is because of our effort toward getting straight to the root that people oftentimes think we are dealing in chaos. We are oppressed. We are exploited. We are downtrodden. We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
We hit your niggas.